This episode is brought to you by Mortgage Workflow Partners and the Mastering Encompass series, both for users as well as administrators. You can find out all the information about it over at masteringencompass.com. Also, if you'd like to check out what we're doing on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel using the @MasteringEncompass handle. And make sure you stay up to date on all the information, not just with podcasts, but also video content that we bring to you as often as possible. Now let's get on to the episode. Hey, welcome everyone. Larry Bailey here, Mortgage Workflow Partners. Today is August 3rd. We're with Mastering Encompass live events. Thanks everybody for coming. We meet today on Thursdays every week, usually at 1 p.m. Eastern. Sorry for being a few minutes late today. Or on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Bring your own snacks, bring your own drinks, bring your own questions. It's a community event, so really the important thing is to talk about things as a community. I did have a couple of things come up that I want to talk about that are support issues that I think are important to get on the record here and get out for everybody to be aware of. Also brought a topic. Today's topic is just getting ahead with Encompass on the web. So we can talk about those things. But first of all, how's everybody doing? Everything should be funded. I guess today's the funding day, or yesterday was a funding day, depending on if you close July 31st kind of a thing. We had a big announcement yesterday, demonstration, maybe is a better word, but with, hopefully you got to see it. If you didn't, the replays will be up soon. And that has to do with Bullseye. And so if your company is in the marketplace, if you use Encompass, and obviously if you use Encompass, you're here, but if you know anybody else that uses Byte or Mortgage Link, that's wrong. I'm horrible. I'm just off my game today. Meridian Link. Basically, Bullseye integrates with those platforms as well. And it visualizes data. If you are interested in that, feel free to let me know. I'll get you the demo. There's a link. It's a free 60-day trial, that kind of a thing. But it's a really big deal, and I bring it up. And I'm going to be bringing it up a lot this month because it's Partner Awareness Month kind of a thing. Elena's on here from Lodestar, who has a fantastic product for fees. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Lodestar. Is it just lodestar.com, Elena? I should know that, but hit up Elena and she'll get you a demo. But yeah, if you're not automating your fees, why? If you're saying because of cost, talk to Elena. If you're saying because you hate Closing Corp, I get it. I've had struggles with them in the past too. What's chat saying? Chitty chat. Yeah, lodestarss.com, lodestars.com. Anyway, yeah, archiving milestones. Thanks, Lucas. Anyway, Partner Awareness Month for August. And then we also got some community members who are going to be doing some demos. So look for the updates probably by Monday. Give everybody a chance to do their own thing over the weekend. Yeah, and by the way, Elena, I'm pressuring you. I think you had one of your team members log in. But guys, we're going to have Lodestar. I'm putting her on the spot. So I know you love me, Elena. But I want to get more like fee expertise into the community. There's no one better at fees than Lodestar, seriously. Luba, archiving milestones. Do you want to talk about it, or you just want me to kind of ramble on? Do you want to come up on stage, or do you have a specific question? Like that's kind of a softball. You have a question, cool. Well, get your butt up on stage. And where the heck are you in this list? There you are. Invite speaker. And just as a reminder, anybody can come up on stage if you have a talent, if you have like show and tell, if you've made a cool lunch dish and you want to show it off to the rest of us because we're all hungry because we're here. Hey, Luba.
Hi.
So what's the archiving milestones? That sounds so interesting.
Sorry, but okay, so it just came up. A long time ago, we implemented new milestone templates and kind of renamed the milestones because we wanted them to be called something else. But the old milestones are still hanging out there, and it's with getting new admins in and everything, it's getting confusing to people. Okay. What's new, what's not new. So is it okay to just go archive them?
Yeah.
Is that going to cause any issues?
No, it's a fetch table. And that's something I think I made up, but it's a fetch table. It's like the itemization fee management If you know a fee is no longer being used and it's not going to come in from Lodestar or somebody else like that, get rid of it. It's like even a document name in the eFolder documents template setting, it's a fetch. So the good news is back in the day when you archived a milestone, you could never unarchive it. So if you make a mistake or something changes and now the business wants it back, you can unarchive it. Just make sure that, and I think Encompass tells you if you try to archive a milestone that's currently in one of your templates that's active, it'll tell you it's a problem. So if you're archiving something that's no longer current, but it's still included in an active milestone template from a sunsetted business rule that's still active, you can't archive it.
Okay. Yeah,
Does that
so
make
I
sense?
got one. Yeah, I just tried one that says the following milestones are associated with a selected milestone. If the milestone is archived, they will be removed from the template. And I mean, it says test only for the template, so I don't care.
Yeah. So you want to be really careful about that.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. Great question. Anybody else have any follow-ups to that? And it's funny because somebody else, oh, it was Brian. Yeah, Brian, we were, no, wait, and you can never delete them. Well, it depends. Again, here's the thing. If you created a milestone and you typed it wrong, like I always do, can you delete that? Sure, because it was never used. But just because something, it's programming, so you never want to delete anything out that's been used in real life. Archiving is best. It's kind of like if you're dealing with VB code or whatever, C# even, and you comment it out in the code, you never delete it from the code. You just comment it out. So that way you can visually see what you used to use, and now you're not using it. So yeah, don't delete them, Brian.
That's not even an option to delete them.
Oh, you can't?
Doesn't come up as an option to delete.
There you go. Can't delete them anyway, Brian, even if you wanted to. So thanks, Libby, for confirming that. I don't even go there. It's like a scary place.
It is very scary.
It is very scary. Okay. Anything else you want to ask while you're up on stage?
No.
Okay. Did ATI get back to you with a demo time yet?
Not yet, but I'm meeting with my manager on Friday, so I was hoping that they would.
All right. Yeah, I'll make sure it's done.
Because I was very excited and I was bugging him, and he's like, "Can we just schedule a call so you can tell me?" Because I guess I'm sending him too many emails.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Yeah, I'll follow up on that and somebody else too. So okay. Well, thank you, Luba, for coming up. Anybody else have any questions before I get into our topic? Or certainly if you have a question, feel free to jump in anytime with chat or coming up on stage. So let's go ahead and share screen. So here's some basics on, and Luba, if you want me to remove you, I can remove you from stage too. So there, you're off. So up on screen, 4 basic things, and then I left 5 intentionally blank because it's really specific to you. So when it comes to Encompass on the web, it's like July was all about Encompass on the web. And the reason why I did that was because ICE, as a partner, certified partner with ICE, we meet with them monthly. And actually starting this month, I'm actually part of an advisory committee as well. So by the way, if there's anything like you've been asking ICE to do with Encompass, or you put it in the Ideas Center and you think it's really, really cool, please let me know what you think is really, really cool that should be done directly. I'll put a post up so everybody can add to it. But advisory committee meets twice a year, I think was what we're doing. It's like 2.5 hours. All the partners get together that are invited. There's 10 of us, I think. And we get to kind of really dig into ICE's ears on what's important and what's not important. So when it comes to Encompass on the web, ICE is really putting more and more R&D into making sure that the future of Encompass is on the web, right? They have no plans of getting rid of desktop, but making sure that you're aware of what's going on with Encompass on the web is important. Like even something as simple as the domain, like, encompass.ice.com was important to get that domain out there just to kind of bring you up to speed. And having said that, the things that I focused on throughout July are fairly summarized here. I didn't really talk about custom tools, so I'll get there. But loan officers and sales, if you have anybody who's coming from, if you're recruiting, if your company is recruiting and the sales team is either coming from a web-based LOS like Arrive or Lending Pad or a couple of others that are out there, Black Knights, that are really web-based, using web-based stuff might be that salesperson's thing. So that's one end. The other end is like what we went through on Tuesday. And if you missed that replay, I think we just put it up. But going through, Bob, you went through, I don't know if you have anything to add to this, but going through the scenarios and being able to price and then create an application from there and basically just do some scenario comparisons. You can't get that anywhere else. That kind of experience, especially not without paying anything extra outside of your Encompass fees. So for the loan officers and sales team, whoever those people are, that the ability to engage with them outside of a desktop platform isn't just about being on the web. It's about functionality that just doesn't exist in desktop. So that's the one thing I would encourage you as an admins is to go back to your executive leadership, whoever that is, and say, listen, what is our team using for this? We had Mortgage Workflow Partners. We implemented a bank up in Massachusetts, and they use Blend. They use Blend for all their POS stuff. And their salesperson, one of their salespeople, I'm working with to help move them from Point. They came off Point and move them over. And a lot of times, this conversation, if you've never done sales, it's fairly difficult to do three things at once. You're trying to keep the borrower interested in you versus going to a million other places they can go. You're trying to give them correct information, and you're trying to be a professional about it. And if anything in your conversation or what you're doing with your hands on your keyboard or screen, if any of that stuff is slightly off, it blows your flow. And all of a sudden now you sound like an idiot, or even you feel like an idiot, and it's not a good feeling for sales teams. So giving them the tools that if they're not feeling like they're getting everything that they need, Encompass on the web can probably fill some gaps in. For task-based workflows, we have in August, we're coordinating which day, but in the coming sessions, we've got a community member who actually volunteered to display how the methodologies they're using for their task-based workflows with Encompass on the web. Super awesome. So stay tuned for that. And if you're not investigating the task-based workflows, I'd encourage you to, even if it's for one or two tasks. Again, going back to sales, if you're leveraging your sales team to think about going to Encompass on the web, they have a taskbar. And so it's one of those things where, you can kind of ratchet yourself up for tasks. I suggested that you start with something like an appraisal team or disclosure team or something post-closing and leverage those tasks, because you can create tasks through business rules natively. That's one of the biggest reasons why I think it's helpful. So check that part out. And then, of course, part of the task-based part, if you didn't catch that, I suggest you go back to the replay for that one, because you're able to create either a 1-column or a 2-column environment for the user, for your team member to really coordinate the task with the thing that you want them to pay attention to, whether it's 2 separate input form slices or 1 input form and 1 document. So check that out, please. Third one we haven't talked about. I think I might have actually done something like this back in June, maybe. And so e-closings is a really big deal for me. There's 2 big things for Mortgage Workflow Partners to help steer a conversation in 2023. One was task-based workflows, and the other was e-closings. So a hybrid e-closing used to be, and I say used to be because I think ICE might have changed this policy very, very recently. So check with your check with your ICE rep about Encompass hybrid e-closings. I know that if you do e-closings through Simple Nexus, they charge you for that, which I think is unfortunate when we're all trying to save money. If you're using Encompass, you can actually sign up for hybrid e-closings, and that hybrid e-closing means that everything other than the collateral is electronically signed. So your note, your mortgage, anything else that's required in your state for that closing is wet signed like normal. But everything else, like all that nonsense that if you've ever been at a closing table, whether as the borrower or as the explainer, like literally you're just feeding them paper and everybody's like, sign, sign, sign. You can do all of that stuff outside of the actual closing. You can make them e-sign that day, and it makes the actual closing go super quick. What's also important is you get all your stuff back. So if you're working with an aggregator or if you're working with a GSE and you want to have certainty as far as making sure your packages are always signed and that the closing agent didn't drop one of those, maybe they dropped the E&O in the puddle and they threw it out, and now you don't have an E&O signed that you didn't realize because your post-closing team didn't notice it was missing when the package came back. Speaking from experience, hybrid e-closings at least. So put that on your list for 2023. And this leans you right back into using Encompass, using Consumer Connect without having to pay anything else. So big time saver. You can see there's many companies moving to hybrid e-closings. Jump on that bandwagon. It will save your company money. It will make your company faster. It will make your borrowers happier. Elena, do you have any sense on your side? Do you even know who's using e-closings? I know you just do fees and stuff like that, but if you're, I wasn't sure if you knew anything, if you had anything on that. Like, I don't know how to tell in the industry, like how many closings are hybrid e-closings versus not. We can tell the electronic closings because that stuff is recorded that way, but everything else is outside of the purview. And Luba, the thing it's less common than expected. I think this is all about change, right? And so it's weird. It costs more. There's an educational thing. I mean, come on, it's 2023. We still have people faxing, like really, like borrowers are faxing documents. I see it every day. I have one client. They get borrowers faxing in documents every friggin' day. It's crazy. So I'm going to wait for some people's chats to come through. So Patty, what determines when a lender converts Encompass to Encompass Web? Is it here? There's no conversion, Patty. So it's not a mutually exclusive decision. You can do bits and pieces. So just go to encompass.ice.com. So literally, if you come over, you guys are seeing the screen. So encompass.ice.com, if I could type. You don't need the admin part. So, you fill in your credentials. It's going to ask me to stare at the screen over here. Make sure I am who I am. And it's going to come to the ping ID. So again, you have to have ping ID installed, Patty, as would anybody else who's using it, because it's a multi-factored experience. But I have an iPhone, like it's no big deal. So this is where you'd come in. And again, I have a couple of, look in the replays in the community and you'll see all the stuff I went through on here. And certainly if you have any questions, just answer, just ask. Chris, you do like 3 out of 4 closings for hybrid? Anything, do you want to come up on stage and talk about it real quick? Like for 2 or 3 minutes? Or 3 out of 4 minutes? Just to give everybody else, because I think the more people we can show like, hey, it did take a lot of work, but it is a huge benefit, especially to Kirsten's response, which is for hybrid closings, they get pushback from the escrow and title agents. Oh, I know that. Like I've heard of some horror stories. I don't know if it was at the experience, but horror stories where attorneys were charging borrowers more to do e-closings. So you do use Simple Nexus. So you're paying extra for those. You're paying extra for those e-closings, which again, if it makes your borrowers happy and everybody's cool, so be it. Okay. So Chris, any feedback for everybody else would be awesome as far as how to deal with the pushback from escrow or title agents, or how to deal with pushback even from internal team members. But to your point, it's been a tremendous experience for the client. Yeah, that's all I hear. And I've had the opportunity to do an e-close myself, and it was like a dream, especially because it's literally, again, you got 80 documents, like click, 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 and it's 3 minutes. Nobody reads the crap anyway. And you have a copy if you want to read it later. Like, you want the money, here, sign this. Luba, you guys do most e-close? Oh, that's awesome too. So, and the only ones you can't do are like DPAs, right, where the actual program won't accept. Yeah, Elena's like, out of all the title agents, out of 3,000, not all are great with tech. I think that goes well with borrowers too. So Kirsten says, we had Simple Nexus suppress the e-sign package from the settlement agent view. That has helped force adoption and eliminate the option of borrowers ink sign. Yeah, you know what? I've heard that too, where you do suppress the ability for the agent to print off the package where they have to use e-sign. I've heard companies force that as well. So Kirsten, thanks for that feedback. Lubas also uses SnapDocs. Elena says that they've had the ones tell me they don't use the internet. Oh my God. Only in Philadelphia, Elena. Do they not use the internet? Candace says, I have a client using SnapDocs for e-closing almost all their loans, and they love it except for the price, looking to move with Encompass e-close experience when they're at contract. Yeah, you said it. Yeah, 100%. So they should start doing hybrids now. Make sure you get that set up, Candace. Let us know how it goes. There's great discussion on e-closings. I see, this is why I bring this stuff up, because I know it's important for the ecosystem, and it's important for all of our businesses to make sure we are effectively saving money where it's appropriate, especially if the experience can improve. Like, less money, better experience, no brainer. The last one is custom tools, and this one I absolutely haven't even talked about before. But remember that with Encompass on the web, you've got this customization. So you not only do you have the ability to create custom forms, but whether you've got your internal developers, pardon me, or you've got a third-party company you work with, this is the first time you have the ability to create a tool inside of Encompass. Now you might be asking, what would that tool look like? And so when you come in, depending on what it is, a tool can be a website, which, they put MarketWatch here as an example, which is interesting. And then you can define how you want that to go. So custom tool for just certain folks, or a global custom tool for everyone. So custom tools are different than what you've dealt with before. They are not to be confused with plugins. A plugin is like what you currently deal with Input Form Builder, right? Desktop, and you upload a plugin to run on the web. Completely different programmatic structure on an Encompass on the web plugin. But these are things that, again, if you didn't realize you could do with on the web, I would encourage you to explore far more deeper than just the cursory, mention I'm making now. But check these out, because if you're looking for customization that it's going to guide your company into the future, this is where you want to look. You could do that, Luba. Now, again, you might say, well, I could do that with desktop. I'm sorry, Luba's comment was, so it's like a link to an MI company, Income Calc, or something like that. So when you come over, let's do it real quick, just because we got a couple of minutes. So if I were to come over and just do test, custom tool URL https mortgage.community, and it's going to be for all. So we're going to highlight this, and then we're going to activate. We go into our pipeline, go into our Q test. Don't we all wish desktop was just as responsive as this? Wouldn't that be awesome? Go into our tools, go to our custom tools, go to our test with 2 T's, and it refused to connect. So when you go through here, it's not necessarily like a website. If I go back to admin, so because this, if we take this, if I go in and edit, edit. All right, if I take that URL, I plug it in, of course it resolves. So it's not that straightforward. I don't know, like if I copy this, if this works. It's a good question. So it's still active. So let's go back to pipeline. Go back into our Q test. Back into our tools, custom test. So it's still thinking about it. I don't know if I have to deactivate, reactivate. But it's really what I like to think about with custom tools are things that would, yeah, it just doesn't want to do it for me. Things that I would, in the admin part down here, I think more about development side, Luba, for things that I want in my toolbox versus not just a custom input form. For the higher end developers, it's really all about the plugins that you want to have work on your Encompass on the web. There's no obviously, you know, Kenzie May's got its Infinity stuff, and Lender Toolkit has its API stuff. Awesome Technologies has some API stuff. That is not the same as a plugin for Encompass on the web. It's different. So if you're interested in where you would use this, we can talk about it more. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the clock. Oh, you thought it said not activated? Oh, it did. Thank you. Cool. Let's go try it again. Thanks, Angela. I don't know when it got deactivated. I guess when you update it. Let's go try it. Got one more minute. Let's see if it works. One more click. One more click. Yeah, I broke it. Angela, leave it to me to break it. I don't know anybody building these yet, Luba. So it's all about being aware of it. So I can't give you a good answer on that one. I will tell you this, for those that are still with me, thanks for hanging on. I'm going to be posting up probably like 3 or 4 items in the important updates of the community. There's 2 product defects that I discovered. ICE is going to be putting them in 23.3. Right now, the slate for 23.3 is end of August, beginning of September. I'm going to tell you, if they're smart, they're going to do it after Labor Day weekend, hopefully. But one of them has to do with one-time password. Please double check how your e-consents are going out. Make sure that they're not using the notification template versus the HTML. If they're using the notification template, double check what's going out, because what we're finding is that Encompass is grabbing the loan officer phone number for the home and the lender phone number for the work and the borrower phone number for the mobile. And that maybe sounds fine to you, but it's really not, because if the borrower doesn't have a mobile, the only numbers they're going to see to reset their password are the loan officer or the main company number, and that's a problem. The second thing that is also important is go check if you're using New Doc Viewer. If your files are older than 90 days, please go check to make sure they have access. You probably are having problems. You might not be aware of it. See you, Luba. And the reason why this is important is because the only workaround right now is to view the to view current version, not current version. Sorry, I just dropped it, but view original. So if you're using new doc viewer and it's old and your file is older than 90 days, you might have to click view original. Those are just 2 out of the 4 that I'll probably be posting here. There's a couple of others, but those are the 2 biggest ones. Check your OTP for your web notifications for loan level consent or e-consent. And then if you're using new doc viewer, check your files that are older than 90 days. Gang, it's been a joy. Thanks for the awesome conversation today, especially around eClose. I'm sure everybody loves it. So have a great day, everybody. Be well. Enjoy the weekend. Take care.